Hey there, it is Rachel, and I want to give you a tip that likely conflicts with some of the advice you've read about or heard about in the past. And that tip is to stop validating your child's feelings in the moment when you set a boundary and they get upset, especially if you're validating them in the way that I hear most parents do. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say you have to take your child to the dentist, but they were hoping at that time to spend some time with a friend. So they get upset when you tell them that it's time to go to the dentist. And so what we usually do to validate them is we say something like this: I know you wanted to go to your friend's house, but we have to go to the dentist. You have to get your teeth cleaned. And very honestly, what that was we kind of checked off the box of telling them that we know how they felt. So whenever we say something like, I know you wanted to do this, or I know you're angry, or I know you're frustrated, but, that we usually add in there, first of all, I will tell you, undoes everything that we just said. So what they hear is, I know you wanted to go to your friends, but I don't really care. We have to go to the dentist. And that actually can upset them more. We're trying to validate them, but it makes them feel like we don't hear them. The other thing about a statement like that, even if you don't use the word but, even if you say something like, I know you wanted to spend time with your friend, we need to go to the dentist because you have to get your teeth cleaned, it's a very disconnecting statement. You're telling them that they wanted to go to their friend's house and you have a completely different point of view or agenda. And that makes them feel very disconnected and misunderstood, and it can actually make them more upset. So what do you do instead? My suggestion is certainly not to change your boundary. What you want to do is you want to state your boundary. We do have to go to the dentist. And then what you want to do is actually take a moment and think about how that boundary affects them. What is it like that they wanted to go to their friend's house and they now can't? Get into their world. Not to change your boundary, but to change your energy. Because when you approach them with understanding of how that boundary affects them, your energy does change and they can sense that. They can sense that you really are validating how they feel, not because you've checked a box, but because you really do get it. And ultimately, when they feel like you get it, they become more cooperative. It improves your relationship and it just simply improves the positivity. So instead of validating their feelings by checking a box and saying how you think they feel, really try to understand how they feel. This is about being firm, but also being respectful and compassionate. When you are genuinely compassionate, things go better. If you want even more tips about how to be both firm and respectful so that you can set boundaries in a way that really improves your relationship and the cooperation, feel free to head on over to my podcast. You can find that on my website, rachel-bailey.com/podcast. There is a specific episode, number 51, where I talk about balancing firmness with respect, but almost any episode there will give you tips for how to be both firm and respectful. All right, I'll be back with more tips again soon. I look forward to seeing you then.